Howdy, it's Dr. Alejandro.
And I'm Dr. Emily.
And as many of you know, we have 4 clinics on our first 3 years in practice.
If you're ready to level up your business, find us at paththovictorychiro.com to get on the path to victory.
Are you too masculine at work? Are you too feminine at work? What's the right thing to do? What's the right time and place? There's so much buzz and noise around this topic in today's society, and I think we need to touch on it. And so I want to kind of create this episode based around this podcast that I listened to. It's called Build by Layla Hormozi. And the episode in particular was, it was called It's Not Masculine, It's Effective, and How to Lead with Strength, particularly in the workplace. And so for chiropractors specifically, I think that you can get super distracted with a lot of these key buzzwords like masculine energy and feminine energy and what's right and what's wrong. I just want to first off kind of dispute this topic because I think it's super distracting from just doing the work. Okay, so my sister's in chiropractic. If you're a woman, you're a leader, you own your own business, maybe in chiropractic, and you're worried about this masculine or feminine energy, I need to break it to you, sister. Stop worrying about that. That's not what you need to worry about. You need to just freaking work, okay? You need to just stop the distractions, stop with some of that lingo and the latest trends, and just focus on working, focus on leading your team. What I have found to be the most effective, while leading team especially, you have to bring in some masculine energy. Feminine energy is nurturing, it's compassionate, it's caring, you're a listener, you're a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to lean on. And there's a time and place for that for team, absolutely. I'm not saying be cold-hearted, be somebody you're not, don't be authentic, treat your team like crap. That's not what I'm saying. When you're leading team, however, they are looking for somebody who holds standards, who holds the core values, who's decisive. They don't sugarcoat things. And that's not necessarily, we label that as masculine, but it's not necessarily masculine energy. It's just being a freaking leader in your workplace. And so I think we are so caught up in this term of masculine versus feminine that we're like, oh, what should I do? I don't know what to be. I'm a female, so I should be more feminine. When you're at work, girl, you are all masculine. Like you have to be. Work was meant for males, right? Traditionally, if you go back to biblical times, the females, they're in the house, they're raising the kids, they're cooking, they're cleaning, they're doing the feminine things. And men are out there at freaking war and they're battling and they're taking care of what needs to be taken care of. It's a man's work, right? Like they're the handymen, they're doing the physical labor. And that's not to say that's like chiropractic is all that, but I truly believe when you're at work, you got to tap into that masculine side. You have to be somewhat of a leader. You have to be not sugarcoating things. You have to be disciplined and have this clarity. And oftentimes that's not quote unquote feminine energy. So I think it's super misunderstood. And I think it does hurt the effectiveness of your business, especially when you're trying to, you're just so confused about what I should be. Should I be in a feminine role? Should I be in a masculine role? It's really easy to just not put labels on it. Be the best leader, the best chiropractor, the best business owner you can be, and forget about it if it's masculine or feminine. Just freaking do it, right? Like stop worrying about it and just get to work. In Victory specifically, we've built this engine, we've built the systems that runs on discipline and clarity and speed and decisiveness and follow through. And we might, in our society, call that more masculine. But what it is just taking ownership. It's just taking ownership of what you are and what you do, okay? The second thing to this is that chiropractors are not just caregivers. We're not just constantly pouring out into people what some might call or label as more feminine. We're leaders. We're leaders and pillars in our community, and people look up to us. And traditionally, that's actually more of a masculine role, right? You're adjusting people, you're laying hands on people, you're leading a team, you're holding the space for healing. But that does require you to be present and powerful and precise. And these are all more associated with masculine traits. It doesn't make you harsh or cold-hearted. It makes you responsible. It makes you a freaking owner, right? Like that is taking ownership. So whether our doctors in the Victory system are male or female, they're trained to be effective decision makers, and they're trained to be efficient also. We know that leadership happens by making quick decisions, right? The best leaders make the fastest decisions, and that's how you propel forward. And so Our docs have to lead, delegate, we review numbers, we review stats, and all of these things are more masculine, quote unquote, right? They also have to be able to handle conflict, and it requires this kind of idea of structure and assertiveness, and that is not feminine, right? But there is a time and a place to be feminine, but I want to tell you, it's not a majority of the time. In my experience, when I have been more, quote unquote, feminine and feminine energy leading with my team, I find that they're going to walk all over me. They're going to take advantage of me. They're going to think, oh, she's just a great ear. She's an ear that I can bend, that I can vent to. She's not just my boss, she's a friend, right? No, I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to be that feminine energy. I need to be a leader. I need to be assertive, and I need to lay down the standard because I'm a leader, right? In work, at the workplace, at Victory, in the practice, I'm a leader, even if that requires me being a little bit more masculine. However, when I get home, it's not like my femininity is just lost. Like I'm no longer feminine. I'm always masculine. No, when I get home, I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I'm cooking. I'm cleaning. I'm taking care of the household things. It's not like you have to just be one or the other all the time. It's this fluid idea of I can flip, and at work, I can be this person. I'm a leader. I'm leading my team. I'm a pillar in my community. I am helping heal people. I am helping lead the community. And then when I get home, I'm nurturing. I'm being the person, the mom, the wife that my family needs me to be, okay? So I don't want you to think just because you have to be this harsh or this assertive and decisive leader that you're just all masculine all the time. You're just adapting to the environment that needs you and requires you at that moment. And sometimes, yes, at the office, they may require you to be a little bit more feminine, but I will tell you it's not a majority of the time. So I want to share a story in particular of a time at Victory where somebody was a little bit more in their feminine energy, and it actually worked, okay? Because this can go very well also. So there was a time in Victory where we had quite a bit of loss, and it was in particular with patients who were having a lot of miscarriages, which is obviously tragic. It's very sad. And at this time, this is not a time to be masculine and to be assertive and to be decisive, right? This is actually a time when you would step more into your feminine energy. And so our lead doc at Abilene Victory, our clinic director, she was a lot more compassionate, and she wrote letters to the families and Bible verses and scripture, and we all prayed with the family. And it was a time of kind of stepping down and just being an ear and just listening and being supportive. And that is labeled more feminine because that was the time to do that. That wasn't the time to be this powerful presence and to make direction and to lead. It was a time to actually step back and say, hey, what do you need from me? Okay. And that is just an example. I'm going to also share a story of a time where feminine energy was not necessarily the best choice. And this happened when there was some conflict with our previous office manager, one of our past employees, and she had a lot going on at home. There was stuff going on in her marriage, just trouble with her kids going on. And it was just a really tough time in her personal life. And I was super lenient. And I said, you know what? I'm here for you, whatever you need. We were very, very supportive of her and her family. And actually, Alejandro and myself were both actually more in a feminine energy because we were being the nurturers and the caretakers and very compassionate. And I think that there was a time to do that, but I think we let it go too far. And because of that, we got completely taken advantage of. And that person no longer serve their purpose in the clinic because it was just not conducive. They weren't bringing the same valuable work that we were as we were supporting her. There was no equality in it. And I think because of that, the work suffered and the office suffered. And so there is a time and a place to be more feminine, and there is a time and place to be more masculine. And it's actually a majority of the time. So I want you guys to think of it like this. Work is war, right? Not in that you dread going or you feel like you're going to get bloody and hit and you're in a battle, but it's like, man, I got to be in this mindset of I'm leading, I'm winning, I'm going after it. Like today, I'm winning the day. This is all about me showing up, being a powerful presence, leading, making decisions, being bold, being strong. That's what work is, right? When I get home, home should be my oasis. Home should be my peace. Home should be my healing center where I'm nurturing, I'm caring. Not only did I just go out there and fight a battle, but now I want to be loved on and I want to love. And I know I can do both at certain times in both places, but it is really more so in your best interest to have and carry that masculine energy when you're at work, knowing that women, when you get home, you can be feminine as well. So my call to action for chiropractors, this could also apply to any business owner, especially if you're a female. Don't buy in to all the terminology of women, you just have to carry your feminine energy, you're being too masculine, blah, blah, blah. Yes, sure, there's a time and place to address that. And at home, I really believe you've got to step into your feminine energy, and there's ways to do that. I'd love to help you out with that. But if you're in this profession, your job is to lead, it's to serve, it's to save lives. And so that's going to be labeled as more masculine, sure. But don't call it that. Just call it freaking ownership and being effective and working. And that's what Layla Hermosi was really trying to get out in this podcast of like, why are we calling it even masculine or feminine? Let's just freaking work and do what you got to do to lead your company, to lead your team, because we need results, right? And what that is helping transform these lives. It's not about the numbers on a spreadsheet, which yes, you have to read, which is more quote unquote masculine, but it's about helping people and helping your communities. And so we want that at Victory. We don't care about the label. We care about the results. We want to see a lot of people. We want to help a ton of people. And we also want to operate with integrity. Okay. So Proverbs 31, you guys know that that woman, she ran business, she negotiated deals and kept her household running with strength and dignity. You can do both. It does require you to have both this idea of masculine and feminine energy, but just remember, it's just being effective. So, any future docs out there, any students, we'd love to connect with you. We love to talk more about this kind of stuff. Try to stay away from trends and fads and labels like this. Stick with what's classic because it will ultimately bring you the best results. Talk to you guys soon.